Okay, everyone is waiting for me. Okay, hello. That was a very low hello. 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 Okay, everyone had enough pizzas? Yeah? It was fun, right? The previous talk, I mean, not the pizzas. The previous talk, was it fun? Yeah. I like it. Mike, it was very awesome, man. I saw it. It was pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm here to talk about how not to ruin your Salesforce implementation. Okay. Anyone here has ruined the Salesforce implementation? Oh, there's one hand, there's another hand. It's okay, it's okay. That's fine. So here's the thing, okay? When it comes to Salesforce, right? Forget Salesforce. When it comes to any project, right? There's always 99% chance of ruining it. It's not your fault, it's the computer's. Let's blame it on that, right? It's nobody's fault. Okay, the camera is here, okay. So, what am I going to talk about? Nothing really. I don't have any demo. I don't like demos. I hate to give any demos. I'm just going to go over some points, some pointers, and some things that I've learned in the last 10 years, 10 odd years, while talking to people, right? So here's the first flag. Okay, so when do you come to know that your Salesforce implementation is going to get ruined, right? What is that moment when you are like, oh, I'm not coming in tomorrow. I'm calling in sick. I'm leaving the country. Get off this. Do you know exact moment? I had the chance of getting that exact moment. Okay? Here's what happened. I was sitting nicely on my desk, as usual, having my coffee. Our implementation team was deploying Salesforce. It was a go live day, right? Go live was supposed to be in a couple of hours. I was just waiting for that call saying, hey, we are live. I was just going to see if everything works fine and then go home, have a blast, everything. Sitting there nicely, minding my own thing, and this man walks in. Now, this guy was a very senior associate at the clients, and he was a very, very brilliant guy. Like they said that he was one of their top sales X or whatever that time. He walks over to me and he stands next to me. For the first 2 minutes, he won't speak anything. He's just staring at my computer. And then I looked at him and I'm like, what? And he's like, are you the cloud guy? Cloud guy. Okay, yes, I'm the cloud guy. Of all the things I've been called, this was the first time someone called me the cloud guy. But yes, I'm the cloud guy. And then his face becomes very rigid, very suspenseful, and he says, I have a question. I'm like, sure, yes, I'm here to answer your questions. What's your question? What will happen if it's a rainy day? Sorry? What will happen if it's a rainy day to your cloud? Go live day, 6 hours, this guy is going to sit on that system the next working day and he doesn't know what is a cloud. The moment when you know it's going to go downhill from there. Now, but thankfully, that after he realized that this was not something jazzy new thing, it was just going to be the same old boring computer that he was using just on the browser, he's satisfied and he moved on. But here's the thing, right? If the point that I'm going to come, if you don't know exactly what they want, or if you don't know exactly not your stakeholders, not the person who's paying you, but the person who is going to use your system 8 hours a day, the person who is going to walk into the office 9 o'clock in the morning, work on the things that you've built, you've written, you have executed, you're tested. You're doing this for 6 months, he's going to use it for the next 10 years. I don't know how long, right? So everything that you do in that moment before go live, this guy is going to face that every day of his time, every minute maybe, every second of his time. So imagine if you have a simple error message that says the wrong word. He's going to see that error message every single day of his time in office. Yes? And you know your implementation is screwed completely when your client tells you that 6 people have resigned since we implemented this system. Happened with me once. That time you realize that you were not really listening to what they wanted. You just listen to the people who paid you to build a system. You took the requirements, but you never listen to the people who are going to use that system. That's the point. But let's take a deep dive into the presentation. Although Keir said I'm going to say 10 tips, I just removed the word 10 because I don't think they are 10. I think they are less than 10. Let's see. So just quick, I'm going to go through just 4 points. What do your client need? How do you make it matter, whatever you're going to build? Right? There are some tips there around usability. Most of you already know, but I'm just going to brush through them. Does your code matter? And conclusion. Very quick, simple. Let's finish it off quickly, yeah? So, how easy? Okay, so this is the question that I had with one of my developers. How easy is a system to use? It may be difficult for you to build, but how easy it is to use, right? So when we look at Wikipedia, I was just looking at Wikipedia yesterday to see what is the definition of usability, right? Usability is ease of use of any human-made object. I just highlighted that word, human-made object, right? If you have, so we are building the software, the computer is just going to compile it and display it, right? A human is going to make it, a human is going to use it. So why can't we make it human-friendly, right? How will you know when your implementation is crude? You will get frustrated users. You'll have a lot of duplicates in your system. How many of you have faced this issue with duplicates in your system? There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. That means something is wrong in your system, not the people. Okay? A lot of bogus data. Email@email.com. Anyone seen this? Email is a required field. Email@email.com. A lot of clients have the same email. Yeah? And users simply giving up, as I said. Users simply giving up. Yeah? So I just found this very nice Dilbert. How many features? 400 features in a system. But none of them says that it should be human friendly. So let's add one more feature to that. Easy to use. That's not the solution. Reduce your 400 features from the system, right? Okay. So if you think like a human, if you are human, I'm assuming everyone here is a human. Everyone here is using computers since, I don't know, since you're young. Everyone here has used Macs and Windows and stuff. If you're a human, if you can build a system for a human, then your system will be easy to understand, right? You will have very less time, you'll reduce your support cost in the system, right? And this is my favorite point, point number 2. People are actually going to use the system correctly. Okay, another show of hands. How many of your systems, the way you build them, people are not using it the way it is? I can see their hands, right? Humans love to invent. Come on, we are born hackers. People love to screw with the system. And it's fine. It's human tendency to find shortcuts. Yes? So, keeping it simple. A simple rule that I always keep in mind, right? This is a stop sign. This stop sign was in France. I can't read it. But I know it's a stop sign. Anyone here knows French? I don't know. Is that stop? Yeah. Okay, yeah, so okay, I just Googled it's stop sign in France. But as you can see, the signs in both the languages are the same. So even a person who doesn't know French knows that you have to stop there. But imagine if someone uses creativity. Even though I'm English, everyone here is English, you don't know what is the sign about. Right? Okay, so this is a very beautiful quote. I like this. This was said by a graphic designer. He says, client keeps on asking me for a boat, but all they want is to cross a river. Now, when the client tells me to build a boat, I can build them a Titanic. But again, I don't guarantee it will float. No one can. But if they tell you that they want to cross a river, we can talk about bridges. We can talk about swimsuits. We can just talk about scuba gear, right? So, this is on his website. He has a long list of clients from hell list where he talks about the requirements that he received from clients, right? If you look at Seth Godin is the god of consultants. Anyone who don't know who Seth Godin is? I think a lot of people. Anyone who know who Seth Godin is? Okay, those who don't know, look him up, the god of consultants, and it's going to be on YouTube. I think you will like it. He says the hierarchy of organization need is make it proper, make it on time, make it efficiently. How many of you heard your clients speak about these three words? Everyone wants it, right? They want you to make it proper, they want to make it efficient, you want to make it on time. Now, this is what he says you should do when the client tells you something. Make promises, make it matter. Whatever you do, they're going to use 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, so make it matter. Make connections. By the time you leave the client project, by the time the deploy go live, you should have made a connection. Someone is going to use your baby, someone is going to use your code throughout the system from that moment onward. It's out there in the air, so you have to make connections. And of course, we all know this, make a difference, make a request, and make a change. All the companies nowadays use this buzzword, it's the last three. Yeah? This is what the organization needs. This is what they tell you. This is what they tell you. This is what they assume you know. This is what they will never tell you. Right? And these three is something that I want every one of us here to focus on. Right? Tomorrow morning, when you go and sit on a computer, when you go and open your Salesforce org, are you making a difference in that system? If you are just creating a field that is required, is that field going to make a difference? Because if that difference could be between email@email.com and an actual email address that's supposed to go in that system, go in that field, right? You have to make a request. You have to change the status quo. Salesforce is an awesome system, but we don't want Salesforce. Salesforce already sold it and left, right? People need things that they want to see. You are the consultants. You want to show them what else they can see. Remember, they want to cross the river. They don't want a boat. Right? And of course, make a change. These buzzwords, I like them very much. So, how do we attain this perfection? How do we attain this simple? This is the point of the whole presentation, right? How do we not ruin a Salesforce implementation, right? So these 3 points, make a difference. Pay attention to whatever UX and UI. Now this is something that I wanted to share with all of you because I've seen a lot of projects in UK, in US, back in India as well. And I see this is one lacking. We ignore the UX. We focus on the requirements, we focus on the big picture, but we always ignore the UX. So here's the problem. One of the guys built an awesome bot, a chat bot, right? An AI bot that will do everything for you. And the first thing that the bot asks you is, please enter your input. Simple line removes the human element out of that bot. Imagine if Siri asks you, please enter your input. You have to make it matter. So, you have to reduce the noise. Now this is specific to Salesforce, really. You have to reduce the noise. So these are the tips that you will use to not ruin your implementation, right? You have to reduce the noise. I've seen an implementation with over 99 fields on an object. Do you need those many fields? Nobody does. Nobody does, right? If you actually need 99 fields, then you need to go back to the drawing board. You're doing something wrong. Reduce the noise. Don't over-engineer a simple solution. Use clicks, not code. I copied this from somewhere. But very important, very important. If you have a page layout editor, if it can display in 2 separate columns, why do you need a Visual Force page just to do the same thing? You don't need it, right? So use clicks wherever you can, right? Be consistent in your design. That's inconsistent. Awesome. Be consistent in your design, right? This is what testing does. This was not tested properly. Be consistent in your design, right? how do you see consistency, right? Screen number 1 has standard page layout. Okay. Screen number 2 has some jazzy stuff using lightning. There is no correlation between two screens. That is not how it works. You should be consistent. Make information easy to find. And this is the last point, which is very important. Reduce scrolling. Whatever you do, whatever implementation you do, you have to reduce scrolling, right? Now, these are the pointers for the developers, right? Now, if you're a designer, if you're a project manager, how do you stop ruining your project, right? You dare to change the existing process. Remember the story I told you. This guy walks in, doesn't know what is cloud. He's going to use that system every day from next day onwards, right? So you need to have show and tell, not for the stakeholders, but for the users, right? While you're building the system, you need to show them what you're building. You need to show them the difference that it is going to make, right? And I'll tell you my example here. So in one of the implementation, we build a nice screen. So they have a lot of data, and people are resigned because of data, right? We were in this thing. We gave a small demo. We showed them a nice, it was just a Visualforce page. I had a screenshot, but I couldn't put that here. I was told to remove it. It was a very beautiful Visualforce page with whatever data they need, a nice jQuery scroll. So all the data, around 200 objects in just the sandbox, 200 records, they had to scroll through all the 200 within 7 minutes. Very easy problem. We solved it. And in the meeting room, when we were showing you this thing, this guy jumps, literally jumps on his screen. That expression, that reaction matters. And that's where you have to create the request. That requirement was given by no one. No one wanted to see it that way. But because we are the consultants, we have to show them what even they can't see, right? Obviously, provide a demo. Listen to what they're saying. This is a common tendency among a lot of developers. We tend to defend our code, right? It's your own baby. You try to defend whatever you're building. Even if you are just having a page layout, you like to defend it. No, it's because of this, whatever. Don't defend. Just listen in those meetings, right? Whenever you are creating a request, you have to listen to what others are saying. Maybe the person there might not be as experienced as you, but he might have a point which you didn't see, right? Listen. And this is an iterative process. This meeting is not one meeting. This happens all throughout the project. A lot of projects don't meet their end users till the end of the project, right? Now, you will meet the stakeholders, you will meet some of the specialized users who will listen to you will see your system, but the actual users who are going to use it, they're going to see it only at the end. Avoid that. Include them in your implementation right from the start. And of course, make the change. Once the stakeholders move away, once the stakeholders approve the entire scope, now it is your time to make the change. You have to identify the stakeholders. You have to see how the users are actually using the existing system. You have to see how they're actually working. You have to get with them. You have to sit with them, work a day with them to see how they are actually working, and then you'll know the pain that they are facing, the pain that not your BA, not your PM, nobody captured, but you, when you start writing that code, you need to build that, right? And then, of course, this everybody knows, everyone's boss tells you, document, keep documenting, right? Whatever you hear, whatever you hear them speak, keep documenting, keep triaging, keep addressing it. And of course, take action. People don't like giving you feedback if you don't take action on it, right? So take action. And most important, and this is something that I've seen missing in a lot of implementations, ask yourself, is there a better way to do this? Always, every single day, right? And that's it. This is a very quick one. What? Yeah.
So you said that you should, the end users,
Yeah.
you should try and involve
Yes.
How do you make that happen if you have a layer of bureaucracy in the team? You have program managers and the specialized users. How do you get these in? They might not be the same location as you.
Yeah, so that's a good point, right? They might not be at the same location as you, and that's why we have a lot of these meeting tools, right? Now, if there's a lot of bureaucracy in there, that's where you have to create that ruckus, right?
As a developer, how do you bypass that layer of bureaucracy or whatever, the chain of management to get to these?
No, so okay, so even if as a developer, if you don't have access to that person or to those people who are using the system, you are a human. You can sit and ask yourself how you would like to sit and work on the system. Can't you? I mean, if there is a layer of bureaucracy, and obviously there are a lot of things involved to cross that. I'm not going to give that tips out here. But yeah, but there are ways to get across it. There are ways to get across it. But the main point here is, if you don't have access to those users, you can try to get access to them. Point number one, you need them. You need those people to talk, because they are ultimately going to use or not use the system. If there's bureaucracy, if there are people who don't want you to talk to those people, then it's their fault, because they will be spending a lot of time on training. They will be spending a lot of time on change management. They will be spending a lot of money. Tip, guys, if you use the word money during all of these meetings, they listen to you. Just tell them you will be spending a lot of money. You are trying to save them money, right? Because at the end of the day, it's your system. So if there's a lot of bureaucracy, there are ways to get across it. There are ways to get beyond it. There are ways to skip it, right? Obviously, if they are not in the same location, you can always find ways to connect with them. But most important is, you are a human. You can use the system. How many times do we think, when we are building the system, that what will happen if I'm on the other end of the system? What will happen when I'm using the system? Very few. Does that answer your question? Any other questions? That is a quick one, yeah? Questions?
Shouldn't all the change management stuff be at first?
At first, as in at the beginning of the project?
Yeah, so just my question is, if you're trying to get people energized and excited, don't you want to lay that groundwork before you actually start the entire
Yes. Yes. So that is a good point, right? Before you start the project, there's always a change management layer. There's always this entire process. But the problem that I've seen is, most of the time, you will always have these high-end users, right? In any organization, there'll always this one guy who says, we have used Salesforce somewhere before. Yeah, he's super excited about Salesforce, right? But then, he's not the only person. So when this change management, this whole program starts, they won't actually see the system till you actually get them involved, right? Now, a lot of time, people actually just give them, so I don't know if you face this. So I face this problem where we created this awesome system. We had this change management program and everything. System went live, and then 1 week later, a lot of people complained that they cannot log into the system. They didn't know where the login was. They couldn't log in. And you're like, really? That's not how it works. So you look at the login history, and then you realize the person has never tried to log in, right? So there's no login history for that person. So that is where you realize that the entire program that you implemented has failed, because the message was never received to the person who was actually going to use it, right? And that's why, even though you have this process in the beginning, you also wanted them in the middle of the project. You also want them listening to you, and you listen to them.
Yeah, absolutely. What I was saying here is that you almost want to get them engaged before you kick off the project, because they are your groundswell of support. So that's why I'm asking, wouldn't you be better served to put the change management component in front of really the entire project starting?
Yeah, the front, in the middle, and also at the end, right? Yeah, so it's there everywhere. But all I'm saying is, don't just put at the front. They need to be part of your team. That's all. Yeah? Anyone else? Any more questions? All right, that was a quick one. Thank you, guys. That's my Twitter if you want to follow. Yeah?